Welcome to Insulite Health, where we empower women with PCOS to transform their lives. You can find us at insulitehealth.com. You're watching The Weekly Tip with Robin Nielsen, Chief Wellness Officer.
Hi, I'm Robin Nielsen. Welcome to Weekly Tips. How do we know if we have PCOS? How important is it that we get a diagnosis? And what exactly is happening with our bodies? So right now, I want you to hold on to your hat because this is going to be a wild ride with lots of information. Because the more you understand, the more empowered you are. And we're all about that. PCOS stands for Polycystic Ovary Syndrome. It used to be called Stein-Leventhal syndrome, and now they're thinking of renaming it again. Because it's a complicated and confusing syndrome and very hard for the medical community to diagnose. And even if it's diagnosed, there isn't any cure. But don't worry, because with all of our frustration and the sometimes icky and devastating symptoms, in the end, you're in control. And I'm going to show you how in next week's video. Today, let's begin with some of the symptoms, and then I'll tell you what causes the symptoms of PCOS. So PCOS is a hormonal endocrine disorder or syndrome, and you may experience just one or all of these symptoms. Depression or low moods, irregular, infrequent, or completely absent periods, excessive facial or body hair where you don't want it, hair loss where you want hair, unexpected weight gain, acne, skin tags, which are raisin-like growths on the skin, brown skin patches, chronically low energy, exhaustion or lack of mental alertness, brain fog, for example, infertility, anxiety, or decreased sex drive. If you have an ultrasound, there may be cysts on your ovaries, but maybe not. The symptoms are often different for every woman. That's why it's so hard to diagnose, and that's why it's so important for you to be in charge of your own health. Did you know that just by watching this video, you're changing the way your genes express themselves for the better? More on that next week too. So, what causes PCOS? It's considered a hormonal imbalance linked to the way our bodies process insulin to regulate blood sugar from the foods that we eat, especially carbohydrates and sugars. This causes inflammation and can lead to insulin resistance, which is a major underlying cause of the symptoms of PCOS. And this is a problem because insulin is the key that unlocks our cells to let sugar in so we can burn it for fuel. If our cells are resistant to insulin, that means that we can't get sugar into our cells. So we become tired and fatter with lower moods and imbalanced hormones. This is because our environment and lifestyles have evolved too rapidly for our bodies to keep up. We're still genetically wired to thrive on the habits of our ancestors, who consumed different nutrient-rich foods, a diet low in carbs, and who sustained greater levels of movement and exercise. Some people may also have a genetic predisposition to insulin resistance, while others develop the condition through high stress or lifestyle habits that don't support them, maybe like lack of sleep. And what I found is that many women with symptoms of PCOS have higher than normal cortisol levels as part of their genetic makeup. That's our fight or flight hormone. I know this because that's the way it is for me and many in our community. The problem with this is that cortisol and insulin work together. So if cortisol is high, so is insulin. That's because if we're running from the tiger to keep from being eaten, or maybe we just lost our car keys, both are a crisis, right? And our bodies can't tell the difference. Our cortisol goes high and insulin is produced right alongside it to get blood sugar into our cells for energy to run. So over time, these factors damage the complex ability of the body's cell to use the sugar we eat. When large amounts of insulin can't get attached to the cell, it free floats in the bloodstream. In a complex process, this excess insulin stimulates the body to produce increased amounts of male hormones, which are called androgens. So high levels of insulin also increases the conversion of these male hormones to female hormones, or estrogens, which upsets a delicate balance between estrogens, androgens, and progesterone. And that all has a direct effect on all the symptoms of PCOS. So this may seem somewhat complicated, but here it is in a nutshell. We all need to follow the Insulite 5-element system for PCOS to help our bodies use insulin more effectively. It's a scientifically proven and researched system that really has a profound impact. So here's a quick refresher. Number 1 is nutrients. Number 2 is food as medicine. Number 3 is movement as medicine. Number 4 is cravings awareness. And number 5 is support. When we use this approach, our hormones slowly come back into balance. And it can take as little as just a few days to see some positive changes. So here's your to-do this week. Watch at least 2 of the earlier videos and make 1 simple healthy change this week. That's the 5% solution. Small positive changes over time. We're here to support you. I'll see you next week.
As always, the best discussions happen after the episode over at InsuliteHealth.com. Head on over there now and leave a comment. Did you like this video? If so, subscribe to our YouTube channel and share it with all of your friends who you think might benefit. And if you want even more great resources, plus some insights from Robin that she only talks about in email, come on over to InsuliteHealth.com and grab your free PCOS Diet Success Jumpstart Guide to get regular email updates. We'll see you next week.